Welcome back everybody, thank you for checking out the channel. Today we are reviewing John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. This is a spoiler-free review, so if you haven't seen the movie, feel free to check out the video in its entirety. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum picks up minutes after the ending of Chapter 2, and this movie does a really good job of showing you the stakes and the dangers that John Wick is in. Of course, he is a highly trained assassin, but the odds are really stacked against him, and they do a good job of putting that forth in the movie with shots of the clock, because if you guys remember, he only had 1 hour before his contract went live. And at the beginning of the film, we find John Wick trying to regroup, trying to find somewhere safe to be. But where is it really safe with the entire community of assassins all over the world, not only in New York, are after your head? After all, it is a $14 million hit contract against John Wick, so everyone and their cousin, mom, grandma, and neighbor are sure to get involved with it. John Wick Chapter 3, when it's time to go hard, it definitely goes hard. And after 2 films, you would have thought they ran out of ways for John Wick to kill people, but they find some new inventive ways, environmental kills I like to call them, where he uses things around him to bring down the myriad of assassins that are attacking him. This movie has to have one of the most crazy action sequences that we've seen in any action movie that has come before it. And after 3 movies, I can easily say that this movie is probably the best action trilogy we've seen. The only thing that I can think that's better are the Raid movies. And I can't remember the last time I watched a movie and had not one single complaint about any of the cast members. Everybody was fantastic, from Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Ian McShane, all returning members to reprise their roles from previous movies. But it was newcomers like Halle Berry and Angelica Houston, and the one actor whose name I cannot pronounce, but I'm definitely sure you know who he is because he had one of the most intense, badass action sequences in any action movie other than The Raid, of course. But the one standout to me had to be Lawrence Fishburne. He was crazy, he was controlled, he was funny, he was everything and everything else in between, and I really enjoyed his performance. And walking out of the theater on the ride home, I was chuckling to myself, remembering some of his moments. This movie wasn't perfect, and it was nearly perfect movie, but there was about a sequence between 10 to 15 minutes towards the end of the second act that really had no payoff for me. I understand what they were trying to set up, but in the end it was set up to be something that had great consequence, but in the end they sort of just decided to just shove it away, it seemed like to me. Maybe I'll feel different about it when I watch this movie a second time, but for now that has to be the biggest issue that I have with this movie. It's small in the great scheme of the entirety of the movie, but yeah, it was something that definitely stuck out to me as I was sitting down to watch it for the first time. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum is definitely an awesome movie. If you're a fan of this series, you will not be disappointed. We get all the kick-ass action that we are accustomed to in this movie, but we also get a little bit more of character. We get a little bit more of the world building. We understand what certain symbols mean and why they keep showing up in this movie time and time again. And there isn't really much I can say other than go and check this movie out. Like I said previously, this has to be my favorite trilogy because The Raid isn't a trilogy yet. We are waiting on that 3rd movie, but as of now, John Wick is above all your action movies, classic action movies, your Die Hards, your Lethal Weapons, definitely your Fast and Furious movies. This movie is a winner, and the best part about it, I forgot that it was coming out until maybe the week before, so it really snuck up on me, and it was such a treat to sit down and enjoy it and watch it and ooh and ah and cringe with all the violent and crazy delightfulness that this movie brings. If you've seen the other movies, you definitely know what I'm talking about. Okay guys, those are my spoiler-free thoughts on John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. It's time for you guys to jump in the comment section and let me know, are you excited for this movie? Are you a fan of this series? Leave that all in the usual spot. For now, this is me saying that is all.